financial sector. I now turn to the financial sector. The focus of the TEC India agenda in this sector is to build a stable and stronger institution. We will continue with our reform agenda with several measures. The government has already undertaken substantive reforms in FDI policy in the last 2 years. More than 90% of the total FDI inflows are now proposed through the automatic route. The FIPB, the Foreign Investment Promotion Board, has successfully implemented e-filing and online processing of FDI applications. We have now reached a stage where FIPB can be phased out. We have therefore decided to abolish the FIPB in the year 2017-18. A roadmap for the same will be announced in the next few months. In the meanwhile, further liberalization of the FDI policy is under consideration and necessary announcements will be made in due course. The commodities markets requires further reforms for the benefits of the farmers. An expert committee will be constituted to study and promote creation of operational and legal framework to integrate spot market and derivative market for commodity trading. ENAM would be the integral part of such framework. A draft bill to curtail the merits of illegal deposit schemes has been placed in public domain and will be introduced shortly after its finalization. There is an urgent need to protect the poor and the gullible investor from another set of dubious schemes created by unscrupulous entities who exploit the regulatory gaps in the Multi-State Cooperative Society Act of 2002. We will amend the Act in consultation with various stakeholders as a part of our Clean India agenda. The bill relating to resolution of financial firms will be introduced in the current budget session of Parliament. This will contribute stability and resilience to our financial system. It will also protect consumers of various financial institutions. Together with the Insolvency and the Bankruptcy Code, a resolution mechanism for financial firms will ensure a comprehensiveness of the resolution system in our country. I had stated in my budget speech last year that a bill would be introduced to streamline institutional arrangement for the resolution of disputes in infrastructure-related construction contracts, PPP and public utility contracts. After extensive stakeholder consideration, we have decided that the required mechanism would be institutionalized as a part of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. An amendment bill will be shortly introduced in this regard. Cyber security is critical for safeguarding the integrity and stability of the financial system. A computer emergency response team of our financial sector will be established. This entity will ensure work in close coordination with the financial sector regulators and other stakeholders. I have proposed several other measures which are in the financial sector which are given as an annexure to this budget. Listing of public sector enterprises will foster public accountability and unlock the true value of these companies. The government will put in place a revised mechanism and procedure to ensure time-bound listing of identified CPSEs on the stock exchanges. The divestment policy announced by me in the last budget would continue. The shares of railway PSEs like IRCTC, IRFC and IRCON would be listed on various stock exchanges. We seek opportunities to strengthen our CPSEs through consolidation, merger and acquisition. By these methods, CPSEs can be integrated across the value chain of an industry. It will give them capacity to bear high risk avail economies of scale, take higher investment decisions and create more value for stakeholders. Possibilities of such restructuring are visible in the oil and gas sector. We propose to create an integrated public sector oil major which will be able to match the performance of the international and domestic private sector and oil and gas companies. Our ETF comprising of shares of 10 CPSEs has received an overwhelming response in the recent further funding offering. We will continue to use the ETF as a vehicle for further divestment of shares. Accordingly, a new ETF with diverse CPSEs, stocks and other government holding will be launched in 2017-18. The focus of resolution of stressed legacy accounts of banks continues. The legal framework has been strengthened to facilitate resolution through enactment of the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code and the amendments to the SARFAESI and the DRT Acts. In line with the Indradhanush roadmap, I have provided another rupees 10,000 crores for recapitalization of banks. Additional allocations will be made if required. Listing and trading of security receipts issued by securitization companies and a reconstruction company under the SARFAESI Act will be permitted in the SEBI registered stock exchanges. This will enhance capital flows into securitization industry and will particularly be helpful to deal with bank NPAs. The Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana has contributed significantly to the funding of the unfunded and the underfunded. Last year, the target was rupees 1,22,000 crores was exceeded. For 2017-18, I now propose to double the lending target and set it up at rupees 2.44 lakh crores. Priority will be given to Dalits, tribals, backward minorities and women. The Stand Up India scheme will be launched by the government in April to support Dalit, tribal and women entrepreneurs to set up greenfield enterprises and job creators. Over 16,000 new enterprises have come up through this scheme in activities as diverse as food processing, garments, diagnostic centers, etc. Promotion of digital economy is an integral part of government strategy to clean up the system and weed out corruption and black money. It has a transformational impact in terms of greater formalization of our economy and mainstreaming of our financial system into the banking system. This in turn is expected to energize private investment in the country through lower cost of credit. India is now at the cusp of a massive digital revolution. A shift to digital platform has huge benefits to the common man. The earlier initiative of our government to promote financial inclusion and JAM Trinity were important precursors to our current push for digital transactions. Already there is evidence of an increased digital transaction. The BHIM app has been launched. It will unleash the power of mobile phones for digital payments and financial inclusion. 125 lakh people have adopted the BHIM app so far. The government will launch 2 new schemes to promote the use of BHIM. These are referral bonus schemes for individuals and a cashback scheme for merchants. Aadhaar Pay, a merchant version of Aadhaar-enabled payment system, will be launched shortly. This will especially be beneficial to those who do not have debit cards, mobile wallets or mobile phones. A mission will be set up with a target of 2,500 crore digital transactions for 2017 and 18 through UPI, USD, Aadhaar Pay, IMPS debit cards. Banks have targeted to introduce additional 10 lakh new POS terminals by March 2017. They will be encouraged to introduce 20 lakh Aadhaar-based POS by September 2017. Increased digital transactions will enable small and micro enterprises to access formal credit. Government will encourage SIDBI to refinance credit institutions which provide unsecured loans at reasonable rates to borrowers based on their transaction history. The digital payment infrastructure and grievance handling system shall be strengthened. The focus will be on rural and semi-urban areas through post office, fair price shops and banking correspondence. Steps would be taken to promote and possibly mandate petrol pumps, fertilizer depots, municipalities, block offices, road transport offices, universities, college, hospitals and other institutions to have facilities for digital payment including the BHIM app. A proposal to mandate all government received through digital means beyond a prescribed limit is under consideration. The government will strengthen the Financial Inclusion Fund to augment resources for taking up these initiatives. Government will consider and work with various stakeholders for early implementation of the interim recommendations of the Committee of the Chief Ministers on Digital Transactions. The Committee on Digital Payments, constituted by the Department of Economic Affairs, has recommended structural reforms in the payment and ecosystem, including amendments to the Payment and Settlements System Act 2007. Government will undertake a comprehensive review of this act and bring about an appropriate amendment. To begin with, it is proposed to create a payment regulatory board in the Reserve Bank of India by replacing the existing Board of Regulation and Supervision of the Payment and Settlement Systems. Necessary amendments are proposed to this effect in the Finance Bill 2017. As we move faster towards the path of digital transaction and check payment, we need to ensure that payees of dishonored checks are able to realize their payments. Therefore, government is considering the option of amending the Negotiable Instruments Act suitably. I now turn to public service. Our focus here is on effective government and efficient service delivery. We have made a strong beginning with regard to the direct benefit transfer to the LPG and the kerosene consumers. Chandigarh and 8 districts of Haryana have become kerosene free. 84 government schemes have been boarded on the DBT platform. The government's e-marketplace, which is now functional for procurement of goods and services, has been selected as one of the winners of the South Asian Procurement Innovation Awards of the World Bank. Our citizens in far-flung regions of the country find it difficult to obtain passports and redress passport-related grievances. We have decided to utilize the head post office as a front office for rendering passport service. Our defense forces keep the country safe from both external and internal threats. A centralized defense travel system has now been developed through which travel tickets can be booked online by our soldiers and officers. They do not have to face the hassle of standing in a queue with the railway warrant. A comprehensive web-based interactive pension distribution system for defense pensioners will be established. This system will receive pension proposals and make payments centrally. This will reduce the grievance of the defense pensioners. At present, our citizens, especially those belonging to the poor and unprivileged society, go through cumbersome procedures of government recruitment. There are multiplicity of agencies and examinations. We therefore propose to introduce a system of registration and a 2-tier system of examination. Over the years, the number of tribunals have multiplied with overlapping functions. We propose to rationalize the number of tribunals by merging tribunals wherever appropriate. In the recent past, there have been instances of big-time offenders. And Madam, this is an important announcement. In the recent past, there have been instances of big-time offenders, including economic offenders, fleeing the country to escape the reach of law. We have to ensure that the law is allowed to take its course. Government is therefore considering introduction of legislative changes and even a new law to confiscate the assets of such persons located within the country till they submit to the jurisdiction of the appropriate legal forum. Needless to say, all necessary constitutional safeguards will be followed in this regard. Our government will continue to remain committed to improve the standards of public service and transparent governance. Service to the people was a lifelong commitment of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. As we approach the 150th birth anniversary of the Mahatma, we will take steps to celebrate it in a befitting manner. A high-level committee under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister is proposed to be set up for the same. We also will commemorate a centenary year of the Champaran Satyagraha this year. Government of India will support the government of Gujarat to commemorate the 100 years of the Sabarmati Ashram in 2017 in a befitting manner. 200 years ago, in 1817, a valiant uprising of the soldiers led by Bakshi Jagabandhu took place in Khordha of Orissa. We will commemorate the same appropriately.